I like to start just taking a couple of breaths.
Awesome.
And I do that just to kind of connect with myself and to connect with you. Just take a moment and just take a conscious breath in a way that feels good to you. Take a moment to notice your feet wherever they are. Take a moment to notice your body sitting in the chair. And then when you're ready, scan inside and see what feels interesting or important or curious to bring to our session today. We can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right. So, my thing, I guess the challenges I'm experiencing recently, are, emotion regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And there was, keep forgetting the name of it, but that thing where everything anybody suggests to you is an offense, an
Re-
attack.
Rejection sensitive dysphoria.
That's it. That one.
That's what led me to my ADD diagnosis, by the way.
I'm like, seriously, you said that, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. And every
Yeah.
time my husband's like, I'm not attacking you. I'm like, I know, but my brain thinks you are. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's also your body's
Your
memory, I
body.
think. So
Yeah.
since we're going to be talking about ADD, I kind of feel like it's important, and since this is public, to make a disclaimer. As far as clinical ADD or anything like that, I'm a layperson. I'm not, right? Like, I'm not a practitioner in the sense of a therapist or a psychologist in that sense. And I am someone who has my own limited experience. And I have a
Right.
lot of knowledge and information, but I just kind of want to share that everything is said from that context.
Right.
Um, but yeah, rejection sensitive dysphoria. So tell me a little bit more.
Well, it's just, I mean, and in looking back on my, my life as well,
Mm-hmm.
bosses may have just been trying to show me a better way to do something, but I took it that I was being criticized and got all
Mm,
offended by it, and I could take it very personally, and I love the four agreements. It's helped me a lot with not taking things personally. But then again, when it's neurologically wired into you to just automatically, it's like you're just like, oh, and it's like, oh, how do you take a minute and turn that to not to realize that your brain is playing a trick on you
mhm.
and that the person might not actually be attacking you.
Right. One of the things I love about a lot of the spiritual tools that we have are things like the four agreements. In my
Mm-hmm.
experience, those have been super helpful for the adult wise person in me that is the age I am now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. And so
They
this
are.
is the experience where we go, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I react differently. And
Exactly. And
then
that's, yeah.
right. And then what comes up there is like you have this cognitive knowing or this, right? Like you have this teaching to aspire to, but then you have a very visceral, real experience
Right.
for the rest of the body. So I'm curious when you kind of, I'm going to use language like tune into, and when I say tune into, I mean bring your awareness and also see if you can notice any sensations,
Okay.
right? So your being, your body, mind, spirit communicates with you in a certain way. I may use words like I would tell a client one time, what is it you want? What does it want you to know? And the way her inner system communicated was with images, not
Mm-hmm.
words, but she was able to translate it into meaning that had words, right?
Okay.
So I may say the wrong word according to how you work, because we haven't really had a conversation other than online before this.
Right.
So, but yeah, so take a moment and just kind of bring your awareness to that space where you're having an experience of, knowing this ideal. Maybe it's, take nothing personally, like the four agreements, but you're having a very different experience. And what do you
Right.
notice?
Well, it is a very physical, and I can feel it. Sometimes it'll be a very like a punch in the solar plexus sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like everything kind of starts shaking from the inside out. Um, yeah, and it's almost like somebody puts a brick on the cortisol accelerator or something, and I just
Hmm.
go, you can almost feel the cortisol flooding.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I've learned to, like yesterday with my husband said something. I was like, I'm triggered. Excuse me. I need to walk away for a moment.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I just did that because it was like it was either walk away or release the cannons on him. So I walked away for a minute.
Yeah. I love and want to acknowledge the just the somatic awareness. Somatic as in the what the body is experiencing. I mean, that's a
Hmm.
language that I have been learning for just the past 7 or 8 years. I
Right.
remember being at an event with a bunch of my clients, and I was like, oh my God, we think our feelings, right? There's a lot of us out there, not everybody, but that are more in tune with thoughts about it instead of sensations. So I love that you're like really recognize that gut feeling when
Yeah,
you do
well, I mean, the
what
Myers-Briggs, I don't think I answered. I literally did not answer one F question. They were all T's. I went, what? Oh,
well, think about it. If
but it's
you
crazy
have,
because I'm in my head all the time, though.
yeah,
So it's like, which one is it? Am I really not thinking about things, or am I just? It's
well,
interesting.
so there's a thing, and one of the things I do when I'm coaching is there's like pure coaching where I'm only asking and drawing out, but I'm also a teacher.
Hmm.
I'm also, and you know that I don't come from this place of I know it all. I'm like a half a step ahead of my people saying, hey, here's what I found, see if it fits,
Right.
right?
Exactly. And
And
that's what I admire about the way you work.
thank you. And I like, growing up, like my birthday's in February and I collected hearts and I just, my little yellow heart logo. And, I always thought, follow your heart, follow your heart. And I thought I was heart led because I had strong passions. But there was a woman named Suzanne Stabile. She does the Enneagram in Dallas. And it's the first time I heard this, Enneagram said this way and she talked about, she's like, don't take an Enneagram test online because all they do is point to behavior. They don't point to the underlying stuff. Well, I'm the queen of what's underneath stuff. So if
Right.
you think about it, right, and if many of us who had very visceral physical childhood experiences. And that could
Hmm.
be direct abuse trauma. That could be just the sensory experience, just the PTSD that somebody who is neurodivergent living in a neurotypical world, and
Hmm.
especially not knowing it, our spidey senses are going to go off every time it doesn't fit in,
Right.
right? So our body is having this reaction. Where are we going to climb to for safety? Our heads. And if we have any like inkling of, and this tends to be the people that resonate with me, we're head led.
Hmm.
And I'm
Right.
like, I'm so disappointed I wanted to be heart led. But what I learned was, what do I go to unconsciously for safety when I feel a sense of threat?
Hmm.
Right. And you said, right, like we crawl up here and we try to think it. Well, I want your thinking parts to know in this conversation, and the invitation to you, Jen, is you never have to put down those thinking parts, but we want to become partners with them because in a
Right.
way, what they do is they're protecting us from feeling from the neck down.
Hmm.
So a lot of times I use the analogy of I think the show not is not ER, Grey's Anatomy. And
Oh,
I
okay.
guess ER too, but in Grey's Anatomy, especially, and most doctor shows, right? They're always in teaching hospitals. And
Right.
in the teaching hospital, there's always an observation room.
Right. 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 The little
And
up top with the window.
right. And so my invitation to your thinking parts is I want them to be a part of this conversation, but I want them to be in that room where they can observe
Oh, so
and they can
good.
learn. And we may even like walkie-talkie up to them
Yeah, they
to
might have a
see what
little
they say.
microphone button. Yeah.
Right. And so that what they don't have to do right now is be at the, we're not performing surgery, but they don't have to be at the table. And
Right.
that analogy is a way to let various parts in our what I call system to like nobody's getting kicked out. We're not
Right.
saying to those
Right.
thinking parts you're doing it wrong. We're just saying we need to learn and adapt. And you've already clearly, just by when I checked in with you using that language, you're already doing it. And right
I'm
now
working on it. I'm
I
working
would
on it.
like to walkie talkie up to them. I want to push the little intercom and say, hey, thinking parts, when you have that experience again of having a knowing like I should take nothing personally, but your body's having the triggered response, what do the thinking parts say in that moment?
Like just hit the little intercom button and say, hey, what are y'all thinking up there?
Yeah, right. So part of this is what we're doing is like, oh, my body's having a response. My
Mm-hmm.
thinking parts are having a response. You don't have to give them names or whatever, but like, right, like the parts of me that think
Right.
are saying something. And that personification creates actually a little distance often.
Right.
So if you check in with them, and you don't have to say intercom out loud, but if you just kind of check into your awareness, what do the thinking parts, what language do they use in your head when that's happening?
Okay. Where's that? Where'd my thing go?
This is all recorded.
Oh, is it all recorded? Okay, thank
It's
God.
all recorded.
I'm like, where's my pen? You're like, it's recorded. Calm down. I don't have to write things down so I can focus.
No, yes, just you'll remember everything you need to remember, and after this, you
Right.
can ask me any questions. You'll have
Cool.
access to the recording, so
Sweet.
you can go back and learn from your own coaching session. I love that.
Yay.
So
I love that too.
yeah.
I love
Okay,
that
so
too.
just
So
what you're
check in with the both parts and see what.
yeah, just remember yesterday. So you shared with what happened in your body, and we can
Right.
use yesterday as an example if that works for you.
Yeah.
You've already brought it to the room. Then what was your head telling you during all this with your husband yesterday?
My head was going, he's an idiot. Why does he always have to blah, 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 blah? You know, because
Yeah.
he does like to micromanage me a little bit, but he's learning to be retired. He was a boss at UC and he had,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's used to managing people.
Yeah.
And, you know, probably from the outside looking in, I could probably look like I could use some management sometimes. But having 7 houses in Aquarius, I'm not usually very responsive to being corralled. I don't like it.
Probably exactly why y'all are together. It sounds
Exactly.
slightly similar to Bill and I.
Yes, it's like
So
he's
your
Mr.
first
Pisces. I'm like,
your first mental response was to criticize him, make him wrong, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, why
So
do you
just
always have to blah, 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 blah?
yeah, perfect. Okay, so just put a little just awareness container around the
Mm-hmm.
part of you that said he's doing it wrong. Were there any parts that had a self explanation?
Oh well, yeah. There's like, well, you know, and then there's the little tiny mean inner side voice that's like, well, you know, you just maybe he's right. Maybe you don't know what you're doing, and you know, maybe your
Yeah.
dad was right and you don't know what you're doing, and da 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 da. All that
Yeah.
old inner critic stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so take the reason I ask us to take a breath, because one, I'm taking a breath. Obviously, we're breathing because we're talking, but it's to kind of slow down and bring back to awareness. So just take a
Right.
moment and take a breath. You don't have to think about anything, but just you've shared a lot, some depth, some very specific physical reactions, a part of you that says he's wrong, a part of you that's inner critic. It's almost like we're just gently setting this out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so take a breath. And how do you feel towards this whole situation today?
Today I feel like it was just a thing. It was just a little blip on the radar, right? And it was just my neurodivergent little inner child going, "Meh."
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with him, you know.
Yeah.
It has to do with my silence, my notifications, they keep popping up. Um, yeah, I feel much better about it today, and I don't
Yeah.
feel mad at him at all. And I feel actually pretty good about the fact that I stopped myself from
Yeah.
exploding and said, I need to walk away for a minute.
Yeah. That's huge progress, right?
It is, it
From if
actually
there was
is,
ever a
because
time when you used to react. I know I used to react big time
all the
in my
time I
relationship.
was
Yeah.
like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm just like a little volcano. I just blow up all the time. That's why I don't completely blow up. But
Hmm.
there's got to be a better way to handle that than blowing up all the time. It's not fun to blow up.
So come back to the table
Come
where
back
we
to the
kind of
table.
have set these
We set
parts.
our parts. Okay.
And what do you notice in your body? Just being aware that there's these different parts that show up when that
I
stuff
feel
happens.
compassion and
Hmm.
curiosity.
Yeah.
Compassion and curiosity is kind of what I feel. Like, what is it? What little part in there is wanting love, basically? Because that you
Okay,
want to
so that's a
understand, you want to be seen,
yeah,
right?
so
That's what
that's a
everybody
perfect
wants.
question. Yeah. So from that compassionate place, and my belly is getting really warm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't, right? So just,
Yeah.
you know, it's that concept, right, of belly breathing. Not that you have to do belly breathing, but from
Oh, I
that
love belly
compassion,
breathing.
right? I knew you'd had experience with it. I don't know why. I just make some assumptions about you from what I know you online. But right, like from that belly breathing compassionate space, I want you to kind of scan inside or on the table and ask, you don't have to say it out loud, you don't have to role play that, but just like, oh, who is in there that needs my love and attention? I'm here for you, and see who shows up.
Right. It's little me. It's
Yeah.
little me.
Yeah. And so please know that nothing has to happen. No conversation has to go any deeper than you're ready or she's ready. What else do you notice?
Yes, my left lip is
Hmm.
twitching. Okay. Body is trying to distract me. Stop it.
That's okay. Yeah.
Let's see. I feel like she is very grateful to be being seen
Hmm.
and being heard. And she's also grateful to see that we've made it this far and that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And that doesn't have to be, that was something that happened before and it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. So check in with her and see if there's any fears and concerns she has around that concept that you and I as adults have labeled rejection sensitive dysphoria. Just check in and see if she has anything to say or express around being sensitive to criticism.
But she would like to release that because it's not comfortable for her either.
Yeah.
She'd like to move to a point where there's that space between the trigger and the explosion to
Yeah.
realize that this is just a neurological thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not real.
Right. Well, and sometimes maybe was it ever real when
Sometimes,
she was
well, yeah, it
little?
was real when I was little because I mean, I
Yeah.
had all these big emotions and, it was like, quit your crying or I'll give you something to cry about, just grow a thicker skin. Don't be so sensitive.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, And my brother laughs. He's like, "Yeah, I used to get so mad. You had I had little Shirley Temple curls." And he goes, "We would be stomping down the hall, and your curls would be like boing, 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 boing." Like, "Bang, bang, bang, bang."
Yeah.
But
Right?
yeah,
Like there's a whole culture of, I'm going to pull it out for just a minute, just letting those parts still be here. I'm not leaving, we're not leaving, but just pulling out to a wider viewpoint. And I think that's what, when we come across something like self-recognition or an ADD diagnosis, there's certain things that click in and go, oh, I didn't realize this wasn't my personality, that this was how I was made. And our
Right. That's a
personality may
big
have,
thing.
yeah, I use, actually, you bring up curly hair. I use that as an example a lot. So I'm going to kind of overlay neurodivergence and IFS and
Okay.
our curly hair. You're born with curly hair. You lived in Texas. Texas and curly hair are not friends, right? Especially
Right.
if it's ever frizzy. And in the 70s and 80s, we did not have products for curly hair.
No, we did not.
Now we have products. And so now we know what kind of shampoos that
Hmm.
absolutely enhance our curls and help. And we know what to avoid because it just makes it frizzy and a mess. And so we know how to support our curly hair. We know
Exactly.
haircuts. We know what scissors to use and not use. Like if you're not a curly girl, you might not
You're like,
understand there's a whole lot
yeah,
of what my friend Breyer calls standard operating procedures for curly hair
exactly.
to
Exactly.
accommodate it, essentially, right?
Hmm.
So our neurodivergence, however that neuro stuff is wired, in IFS, we say that our core self is actually neurodivergent. Our core self has curly hair.
Uh-huh.
And we have reactions to having that curly hair and experiences from being different from the
Hmm.
world.
Right.
Right. So this is a big piece of, right. And I can hear in your language already saying, oh, we're just kind of wired that way. Before we know, I don't know about you, but I was like, something's wrong with me.
Well,
Right.
I was told, and
Yeah.
people would tell me something's wrong with you. Why can't
Yeah.
you be like less sensitive? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, because I can't.
One of the things I do know is that, so I have lots of disclaimers because it's our first time working together. I use labels like labeling spices. I don't use them
Hmm.
as pathologies. I don't use them to create shame or say something wrong, but they're
Right.
in my brain, they're organizing. I know a lot of people don't like labels. You seem to be okay with them for organizing too. Is that?
Oh, I am. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was that person who alphabetized the spices in culinary school.
Right? Like
Okay.
it gives us
And
a
they're
sense of
like, why? I'm
order.
like, you want me to go fast? I have to spend
So
10 minutes looking for the cumin. If it's
one
in
of the
seat. Anyway,
one of
I
the
digress.
diagnostic criteria around ADD is good Lord, I'm forgetting the cognitive function, but there's a specific word that causes emotional dysregulation, right?
Hmm.
So we have attention dysregulation, which means
Okay.
it's not constant, right? It's either hyper on or hyper off. And I've heard
Right.
people say that ADD is not an attention deficit. It's like too much attention.
Hmm. Right. I agree
We're
with that.
feeling everything. And then we have to make a cognitive decision. And so somewhere wrapped up, this is clearly not official, but somewhere wrapped up, and I'm like in my brain, I see a visual of something I read about it. But right, emotional dysregulation is a symptom. Having meltdowns, having what the world sees as extreme reactions, right? Yeah. Like
Yes,
that's part of it.
it is.
And it's not like, but if my husband used to so sweetly say, don't worry, you're overthinking. I said, do you think I wanted to wake up overthinking? Wouldn't I have stopped this if I could have?
Oh, I know. My husband's like,
Yeah.
but it's okay. I'm like, this is not fun for me either.
Yeah.
But
So when you come back to, let me slow down and see where to. So all of that is just gently sitting at the table. The compassion
right.
is there. That little one that had a lot of criticism from other people in her life, she wants to release it, wants
Hmm.
to, right? And the piece that I believe, and again, you can accept, modify, or reject, but one of the things we didn't get, and neither did the people criticizing us,
No,
was
that's true. They
we
didn't.
did not learn before we change. Okay. And I do believe that I have a client that I've worked with for 3 years, and we just introduced mindset to her. She's not from the coaching world. And I
Mm-hmm.
just introduced that concept of choosing a
Okay.
different thought after 3 years.
Okay.
Because what we've been doing for 3 years is learning how to,
Unprogramming.
well, we have, right? And doesn't it make sense, right? So if you think about the book, The Four Agreements, I love it. It's on my shelf it's actually in a special spot, right? We want to go there. That's a wonderful cognitive thing. But to do that, we have to
Tip
take care of some things
this.
down here. And we can kind of do both at the same time, but it can be very frustrating to want to do that and not be able to.
Right.
So I tend to create a little bit, I believe this is my philosophy of coaching, that taking some space before that change is actually helpful
Yeah.
to insert and learn and practice this, what I call be with skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to let that little one know that I hear her desire to not have that experience anymore. And what if we had this? So, this is for you and any part of you that's listening, adult you, little you. What if we had actually learned skills of being with uncomfortable feelings instead of
Right.
shaming them and shutting them down?
Exactly.
What does she say? Tap into the little one if you want to. Tap into the little one.
She's
And if
funny.
they're,
She's like,
yeah, go
all
ahead.
vibes matter.
All vibes matter. That's good. Oh, I've never heard that one. But
All vibes matter.
as a recovering positive vibes person, I think all vibes do matter,
They
right?
do.
She
They
needed to
do.
hear that.
They do. They need that.
Yeah.
And it's like my therapist. She's like, you just, and she brought I think it's the internal family, like
Oh,
everybody
good.
has a place at the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this one was like everyone's allowed on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
but there's certain entities or whatever you want to call them that you don't want to hand the keys to the bus to them. Oh,
Yeah.
like rage but they are all welcome on the bus.
Right.
You just don't want some of them to drive it.
Yeah. Exactly. Great. That's a very common analogy in IFS, and it's a good one, right? So we want this
Right.
compassionate one driving. And
Right.
listen, sometimes they hijack the bus.
Sometimes they
And
do.
here we are in midlife learning new skills. So we're not just learning new thoughts, right? We're
Right.
actually, when we came home from school in first grade and had a difficult experience, someone probably, oh, Sally hurt me at school. I don't
Mhm.
know. I can't remember specific incidents, but do you have any essence of how your parents may have responded
Oh,
if
I
you were
do.
upset?
I can tell you right now, they're like, well, they wouldn't tease you if they didn't like you. They wouldn't bully you if they didn't like you. They
Oh,
just
that's a
wouldn't pay
good one.
attention to you. And don't let them get your goat. I'm like, I don't even have a goat. I wish I had a goat, but I don't have a goat. What is this? Don't let them get your goat thing. I don't understand it.
Right? Like they deflect.
Exactly. Just
They
shove your feelings
positivity
deep.
bypass, right? Those are coping
Yes.
mechanisms. So if we kind of like use our little spice analogy and just notice, like, oh, that's a deflection. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
to make it good or bad, just aware that's a
It
deflection.
is just
Oh,
what it
that's a
is.
positivity bypass. And what did that little one who felt sadness need?
She needed somebody to hear her.
Yeah,
She just needed to be heard.
yeah.
And say, maybe you say, oh, well, I don't see that. I don't understand what you're saying, but I have empathy for what you're saying. Would have been a nice response
I'm so sorry that happened.
to you. It's
It
like, I'm so sorry
must have
that must
felt
have felt
yucky.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the Thich Nhat Hanh saying, I got this from one of his books. Um, the original quote is their anger. I see you. I won't leave
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm here for you. And it's just such a perfect script. And I don't mean that cognitively, but it's like it drops. It's like, oh, there, little
There you
one.
are.
But,
Exactly.
somebody was mean, or you're scared, or you're oversensory and somebody was rude about it. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I see
here
you.
for you.
I'm
Yeah.
here for you. I feel you.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I want to
Could be.
invite you to give that same presence to that little one here in this conversation with us from your compassionate belly. I can hear you doing it with your mind, and I just want you to drop into your heart a little bit. And you don't have to say it out loud if you don't want to, but just really like you're sitting on the front porch with her. You're older and wiser than she is. She's tender. And you don't have to fix anything, but the age you are now knows how much embodied presence can make a difference for somebody. And I want to invite you to give her that presence.
Oh, she's just like right here, and a little head's on my
Yeah,
shoulder. Oh,
right,
it's okay, baby.
right. And they lean
Right. They're
in
just like,
and yeah,
like stroke her little hair,
yeah,
pulling her little curls.
right. We're just being with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does she have any specific feeling or fear that she wants you to be with in this moment?
You know, right in this moment, all I feel, she's just so grateful to be seen
Yeah.
by us right now.
Yeah.
She's
Perfect.
just like so grateful to be seen.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I know there's a big knot to untangle, but we can do it together.
Right. And here's the other thing. I'm a big believer in this. I'm just going to pull back and give you some behind the scenes stuff. When we do parts work or any of these modalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's to teach them to other people, we put them in a structure.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like intuitive knowing too, right? It's just like with my client, like intuitively, I knew we had other things to deal with before I went to mindset. If we
Right.
hadn't taken care of her nervous system first, right?
Well,
And
the nervous system will just hijack everything, right?
yes, exactly. And it can cause more harm. And so one of the things in IFS, right, like there's this concept of going into the inner child and unburdening them. And I am a huge believer in, and this is espoused with parts work, is going slow. And those parts, like this little girl will let us know when she wants to go to the next space.
Right. Right.
Right. And so I love how she's saying, enough for now. I just want to enjoy being here with you and being seen. Right. Because this is our like American culture needs to fix everything. We need to heal everything. And so
That's
there's
a
a
big order
place,
right now.
it's a it's an
This is
impossible
fucking
order,
ridiculous. You can't. It's like, no.
right? And the reality is, as somebody who is living with ADD and living with a neurotype that doesn't fit into
Okay, little
rigid
bee. Yeek. Sorry.
behavior, it's all
Bee.
right. There's going to be other times when your sensitivities pop off.
Mm-hmm.
And I would lay on the table that the goal when the sensitivities pop off is compassionate remembering to care for the sensitivities,
Right.
right? And I think you already like the first step is taking some space, which means I'm going to go out of the room, right? That's the first step. So you're already making progress
Yes.
with that.
And I
But
was
it's
like just standing over there breathing, like just,
yeah,
doing this
yeah,
breathing thing here, calming
yeah,
everything down.
yeah, exactly.
Because everything gets bubbly.
It does get bubbly.
It gets very bubbly.
It happens without warning. I think that's the other thing is that what happens without warning and various what we call in our inner systems protectors come up,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
And they
Yeah, I
make the
got
other
a lot.
person wrong or they scream and yell. And then there's all the thoughts and shame we have about those
Oh, and then it's like,
reactions.
oh, you are not enlightened at all. Look how you just behaved. Blah, 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 blah,
Uh,
blah. Oh, my Lord.
yeah, there's the shame, right?
There's the shame for like,
Yeah.
I'm like, am I going to make it to New Earth if I'm not nice? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, for heaven's sake.
Mm. Yeah. So take a
But
moment and just take a breath into that part of you that says you're doing it wrong. And what do you notice in your body?
well, everything kind of got tight when I started
Hmm.
thinking about that. Everything kind of tightened up.
Yeah.
Like, no, protect it, protect it. It's like, mer.
Yeah. Shame does not, shame, in my experience, does not like to be seen.
No, no. Like,
Because there's a teacher named David Bedrick. He doesn't do IFS, but he uses the phrase shaming witness. And I just love that phraseology
mm-hmm,
because like there's the inner critic that has a voice, but then a
mm-hmm.
shaming witness sometimes is almost like that. It's like the air or the blanket. And maybe your experience of shame is different, but it can be very covert how it sneaks in, right? It uses
Yeah,
something you love, your spiritual tools, to turn around and use it against you.
exactly. Oh, you're not enlightened at all. Look how you just blew up. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
But that's that good vibes only mindset, the whole spiritual bypassing
Well,
of
so look, here's an
then
opportunity.
like, oh, you got to
Yeah.
kill your ego. No, don't kill your
Yeah.
ego. You can't
So
do that.
let's do this.
Anyway,
If everything is, if you're okay with it, and you can say,
absolutely.
not for me, but let's just take a moment and let that, we don't have to let that shaming part run off, but know that it's ego-ness is here,
Mm-hmm,
disagreeing or
mm-hmm.
trying to control. And again, I like the analogy of sitting on the porch, which I think you actually are sitting on a
I am
porch.
actually sitting on the porch.
Right. And so invite it to just say, I see you. Come sit in the
And
chair.
sit in my
You're
little rocking
welcome
chair
to
right there.
sit in the chair. I promise today to not heal you and just you're trying to protect me. Let it sit there. And
Okay.
not just in your head, but from that place where you felt earlier, that compassion and warmth in your belly. Like, hello, shame. Hello, ego.
Hello, Newman.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because even when we say all vibes welcome, there's a place that we can accidentally do that from that's not welcoming those vibes. But
I
that's why I ask,
know.
right? That's why I
I
ask
know.
you. And you know the difference. Like if someone's sitting at the on the porch with you and they're in their head and not dropped in, and I don't mean in a way like we do in ceremony or in our coachy stuff or spiritual stuff, but
Right.
with presence. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
my invitation today is to give you a tiny experience, noticing that your head is doing all the things,
Mm-hmm.
noticing like legit. And I want to affirm all the parts of you that are like, dude, we're live. This is you know Allison, but you don't know Allison. You're talking about personal stuff. You're conscious about this. You're having like there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And so when we, I use breath, other people may use different ways, but the breath is meant to not change the room, but bring an energy to the room, kind of like turning on an
Right.
air conditioner,
Exactly.
right? So nothing has to move or change, but just bringing that attuned presence. So when you
Right.
do that, what do you notice about any parts that we've been talking about today?
It just seems to smooth the feathers a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, maybe I don't have to stand here with my swords crossed. Maybe I can relax a little. I can let my shoulders down some.
All right. That's a good one to anchor. Like shame is sitting right next to me, ego is sitting right next to me, and we all put our swords down and we're just sitting
We're
together.
hanging out at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody laid their swords on the table and we're all just hanging out.
Right. And we don't have to go fix anything today. We don't have to
No.
heal it. We could just sit on the same front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a new experience for you?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is because usually I'm like, I gotta fix this, or like, oh, that's a bad feeling. What are you gonna do about it? Or like, and even thinking, oh, that was a negative feeling. I must go in and meditate or something to fix that,
Mhm.
rather than just being with it. That's great.
So many of our socially acceptable coping mechanisms, I'm so thankful for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, and the alternative, it's not one is not better than the other, but right. Like, if somebody has a coping mechanism of drinking excess alcohol
Right.
to deal with discomfort, they get a rehab program. And here we are with our pretty spiritual, coachy, achievement, brilliant, right? They're kind of tricky. And right, all vibes welcome.
All vibes
And
welcome.
welcome from your belly.
Yeah.
And
Actually
then,
welcome, not just word welcome.
okay, that's a great distinction.
Like
That's a
actually being welcome and it's just saying you're welcome or actually meaning it.
there's
Right.
the practice. And you don't have to go any further than your parts calmly would invite you to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that right there, it seems so tiny.
But tiny's big.
And that tiny is, I'm going to choose my word intentionally. That tiny is really everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
And the easiest mindset to adopt around that is slow down. Right. And you're already starting to do that. But it's like,
Right.
Here's the thing. When we have emotional dysregulation or physical dysregulation,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to dysregulate. There's we can't have shame in that.
It's like a diabetic person can't help it. Their pancreas doesn't regulate their sugar. It can't be
Exactly.
helped.
So you can't, just because you notice it doesn't mean you're going to instantly be able to stop it.
No, right?
Right. So that is when, if we can, we take space.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I will
Exactly,
say
Mom.
one of like this, I can't believe I'm talking about something measurable because these days I don't, but RSD, I was so glad to have a name for it. On the other end of RSD, if you take a spectrum, is recognition response euphoria. And I built a whole world around that by accident because it was right. Like, but that's also a cope. It's like, oh, where everybody loves you. Well, what do I love? That's
Right?
performance. And one is rejection and one is performance.
Yeah, my
I,
sister told me I was the performer in our family. I was always the one performing. And it's true. I've been a performer.
well, right. Because the recognition we get from performing, the accolades feel so much better than the sensory experience of perception of disappointment. And
Right.
listen, when we were little, everybody had something different, but most parents that I have heard stories of did not, parents, caregivers, school teachers, when a child is unregulated and having difficult physical or emotional experiences, how do parents and caregivers generally react? How did yours react?
They told me to
Right?
stuff it.
Yeah. Okay.
They told
Right.
me to
So
stuff it.
stuff it. Here's another one that happens.
Or here, have a cookie.
Go to your room until you can behave.
All right.
So on one hand, they're giving you space, but this is why some of us isolate these days. But that's also not welcoming. That's disconnection.
That's like go away until you can be how I like you to be.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And so I think it's interesting, right? When we say go to your room or even go to timeout, we're creating a physical separation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen, my sweet mom one time was like, I'm so sorry. I said, Mom, I'm not running around with blame. I see reason. Like I see this as a data. So I'm not about shaming your parents or saying your parents fucked up and did it wrong. I'm just
They
saying
did the best they could.
we notice the Legos, right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
dominoes where the dominoes fall. And
Right.
when we are given the experience of disconnection, the most innate thing in our bodies as children, especially as children, is connection.
Mm-hmm.
And when connection and attuned connection Now, listen, a child doesn't have these words, but is held up against the child's true desires or
Mm-hmm.
needs, the child will always choose connection, which means the child will suppress or explode their needs in order to get connection.
Right.
Right. So some of
Right.
us learn to dance so that we had that sense of connection.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because now I'm learning to dance as an adult.
Okay, right? And this is like that in the sense of like, I don't know about you, I'm teaching myself sort of how to dance. Don't tell anybody, like how to shuffle in my
Hey,
own
it's fun.
house, not doing it publicly, but like, oh,
Well, I'm
I learned how to do that. And in my head, I can do
fun.
it really well. In the mirror, it's like, oh, that is bad, Allison.
Hey, it's movement. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, no one, I say this from compassion, not from victim, but like, oh, no one taught us how to be with discomfort. They didn't know how to be with their
They
discomfort,
didn't
so
know
they
how to
didn't
deal
know how
with
to
it.
sit with ours. But
No.
once we know that, then we can make the decision as people who like to learn new things. We have that going for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can learn be with. And you know today, after this experience, the difference of be with here and be with
With here,
everywhere, right? All
all
the way,
together,
your head, your
all
heart, and your
together.
belly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Connect the dots. Boop, boop.
And I'll tell you what happened was the way that I experienced RSD is different from a lot of people. I guess mine was so way packed down. And I know other people have told me like it's just a constant thing, but mine was so way packed down up until 4 years ago that about once every 6 months, something would happen. It was always in a business environment for me. And it would hit, it was almost like it hit a button and all my protectors would go away. And all of a sudden there's a 3-year-old girl there,
Oh dear.
quivering lip. And then I'm aware that there's like, why am I feeling this? I'm an adult. This is, it was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would ruminate. And there was one incident that happened that I've just felt like was so unjust. And I sat in my backyard for 3 months pulling crabgrass. And I was pulling crabgrass, like it just, the thinking about it was even worse than almost the initial event. And the
Right.
last time I had an intense RSD thing where all of a sudden I'm starting to get flooded, I'm starting to experience that 20 minutes. And so I don't say that in the aspect of fixing. I just say learning to be with those parts.
The level of the at least it wasn't 3 months. It was 20 minutes. That's
Right.
progress, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I just have personal evidence and then also evidence in my clients of that, even
Mm-hmm.
an imperfect practice of attuned presence, especially with the parts we judge, which means the judger. We're present with the judger.
Yeah.
And right, I love this idea that ego and shame are sitting in that little chair with you. What a great place to just visit and say, what's up
I
with you
know. It's
all?
like this is their spot right here in that little rocking
Right.
chair. Boop a
And
doop.
so as we kind of close this out, I want to give you two skills, right? Like if we have this idea that every once in a while when you sit down there, you can just, hey, what's up? Shame, ego, how's it? Checking in with them, take their
Mm-hmm.
temperature. Do you have anything you want me to know? And then here's another one I really like. This comes straight from my IFS training, but it's one of my favorite questions. What are your fears and concerns?
What are your fears and concerns right now?
Right? Like,
Right
did
now.
anybody ever in the lifetime of anything ever
Never.
say, what are your fears and
Never.
concerns? Right?
Never. 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 Not once.
I hired a new med manager for my ADD, and on her, I was looking for somebody that was also autistic. And in her little bio, it said, I want to hear what causes discomfort. And my whole heart just was
Uh,
like that is the most loving thing to say.
it is.
And we're
It's a
not
beautiful.
victims if we experience discomfort. We're fucking humans. Right. So I
Exactly.
wanted,
And it's hard being human, especially this
right?
planet. This is the quarantine planet, okay? This is the hardest planet in the universe.
Yeah.
And we
So
came here. We begged to come here. Oh my goodness.
you've already, I love how we kind of picked up and integrated because you've already got the like, oh, I need to give myself some space. And
Right.
now hopefully you have a few
The tools.
ideas or
Yeah.
tools. You don't have to use them perfectly. There, you don't have to go to the end of like the end of the process, and IFS is unburdening. And I personally don't believe you have to get there. I think that the human experience, there may be
Is
time and
enough.
place. Your inner system will tell you. That's the other thing. I believe our inner system is, but we have to go at this. We can't decide the pace for our parts. Our parts have to decide the pace. And
Right.
those of us who are head led, I can't speak for a lot of I can't speak for the therapy world, but my clients who are cognitive, master motherfucker awesome,
Mm-hmm.
those thinking parts are, and those, I'm going to personal development this. I'm going to read a book and take a class and hire a coach. Those parts are so smart and wily. They're also, I don't want to call them stubborn. They are just so intent.
Determined.
They're that right. That's the word. They're very determined. And so having compassion for that, like having compassion for that ego part and having compassion for shame. So I hope today gave you a couple of new tools. I want to
It
check in
did.
before I close out. I want to thank the little girl and the shame and the ego and any even the sensory part in your jaw, all parts of you that came to just connect today. I want to tell you, Jennifer, but also all these parts of you, thank you for
Thank
sharing your
you.
heart and connecting and being a witness for other people, because I do
Oh,
believe that other people will see themselves in you and grab a couple of these tools. So I want to
no.
thank them.
Well,
Is there anything else that they need before we kind of come to a close? Not you, but them.
right.
Yeah.
The baby bird. Okay. No, I think
Yeah.
everybody's good.
Perfect. And then I want to ask you, I like to close all my sessions just saying what, and this is not from your head place or if you take notes, just in your being, in your heart, in your body, in your mind, what do you want to take and put in your pocket for the weekend from this session?
I like sitting on the porch with all the parts, even though the snarky ones. Just like what fear, what concern do you have right now? And if there's any, we'll sit with them. And if there's not any, then we'll dance along. Right? Is that good?
That
No.
listen, I
Look at me.
I think
Always
you
looking
know
for
that's good.
validation. Oh, I
I
know. I'm like, that's the
listen,
little girl going, that's it.
I will tell you right now, and I'm a big believer in, right, like I'm just now learning, I'm just now kind of defining what my spiritual religion, it's not really religion, but spirituality is.
Right.
But because I am very agnostic and atheist, but I also believe in like I'm more witch, body, nature,
Mm-hmm.
something mystic out
Yeah.
there. But I personally don't believe that um, the universe or God gives a shit. It's there, but it's like it's so arbitrary. But you know what I do
Right.
know? We need ritual and we need community. And so
We
I
do need
am a big
community.
fan of ritual and I love like creating a self spiritual practice. I don't mean IFS self, but like you get to make up your own spiritual practice. And I will tell you that sitting on, if you never did anything else for the rest of your life and you sat on this porch or in your car or anywhere, but you had these porch talks with parts, there we go. Porch talks with parts. I was going to do my
That
YouTube channel.
that could be a new book, man. Porch Talk Apart.
Well, I set up a secret second YouTube channel that I haven't launched. And I talked with a friend and I was like, I want to do these porch conversations because I have this like vision of people come to my house and we sit on the porch and I do coaching sessions on the
Mm-hmm.
porch. Like there's just,
Mm-hmm.
that's the relaxed style that I want to do. And this porch analogy, I'm telling you right now, if you feel called to do that and do that,
I'm good. I love the porch
everything will
idea.
soften and loosen and relax. And it's such a good permission to not have to quote heal. Like uh, what will
I
happen
don't
is
have to fix anything. You just being
right,
there with them. Right?
spontaneous healing happens. And what's funny is you'll have things like, I remember having a conversation with my husband and it was like I call him Oscar the Grouch. Like he's got a very soft and tender heart, but he has parts that like to control and manage and do this. Um, And there was
But
one time I know exactly where I was standing. He was standing in the garage door was open, and I was in that mud room, and I don't even remember what he said. And all of a sudden, this very calm self energy, not a protector, said, I'm no longer available to be spoken to that way. And if you had spoken to me that way 3 months into dating, I would have walked away and never seen you. I said, and you did not change. I changed. So I realized that I've been tolerating that for 20 years.
I'm done.
But the way I said it, like I was
But it
like,
was
who is
calm.
that calm? It was calm. It was boundary, and his shoulders dropped, and he goes, "You're right. That was kind of ugly. I'd never
Good for
had that."
you.
And I was like, so those reactive parts that either punch back or feel sorry for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because I spent time with them, they backed away and let that core wise energy
That is
have the
so good.
conversation.
So
Did
beautiful.
I ever say to them, I'll have the conversation? No, it was porch time,
It just
quote,
happened. Popped
right?
out.
So thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. I'm so excited. This was
Awesome.
beautiful. It was
Thank
so
you. I
wonderful to.
appreciate it. And again, thank you for all your love and shares
Oh, well, if there's more
on social
coming, I
media.
got lots.
Thank you. Awesome. All right.
Bye.
Bye
Mwah.
bye. Thank you,
Take
Jennifer.
care. Oh, you're welcome, Allison. Thank you. Love you. Bye.